Damn it! I spent all this time working on this? What is this? I spent hours on this. What is this background? Are you kidding? I put so much time into this character, and look at the background. You know what? Fuck it. I'm filling it in with a solid color. I'm done. Hello guys, today I'm going to be talking about how I improved my art using perspective, but first I want to mention I put a lot of time and effort into this video, so make sure to like the video and subscribe if you enjoy the content. In this video we're going to be going over some basic terminology, show how to make my favorite shape, the cube, in 3 different forms of perspective, and give you guys some reasons why you're terrible at using perspective. And at the end of this I'm going to be doing a quick little sketch of Green Goblin so you guys can see how I applied this form of perspective. Now let's get right into it. Your backgrounds are pathetic. You're just incapable of performing, and there's no other way around it. This is an issue artists run into time and time again where they have a good idea for a background, and they have a completely drawn out character too, and they just can't seem to execute it, so they just, fill it in with a solid color or something, hide their shame. But I'm telling you guys right now, you don't need to do this anymore. Today I will be giving you the tools you need to execute your background correctly. Now I just want to make something clear to all of you right now. This is a tool. This isn't actually how you come up with good backgrounds. Perspective is meant to help you draw out the ideas you already have. Which means what I like doing, and I think most of you should be doing, is before you even start getting into the perspective of objects, you do want to have your composition done. Think of it like a calculator. You still need to know the formula, but a calculator is going to make it so you don't have to do all this crazy math in your head. It's just going to help you. Starting off with our most basic terminology, that's going to be the horizon line. Now the horizon line gets its name from the actual horizon. It's where your vision starts to cut off and you can't see past that point. There's still objects there. You just can't see it because, your vision is limited. Depending on how high our eye level is in a drawing, it will vary where you place the horizon line. For instance, if your eye level is higher, the horizon line tends to lower, and if you're lower, it tends to do the opposite. I know some of you may feel like I'm babying you right now. I really don't mean to. I just want to make sure this first point is crystal clear, because it really is important when drawing in different forms of perspective. Speaking of the points, we're going to be talking about what the points actually are. This is a vanishing point. It's a grounding point in our drawing that's going to help us draw out our background. And it's how we're going to turn this square into a cube, by simply drawing lines from the vanishing point to each of the corners of the cube, and then cutting it off. You can see right here after erasing the guidelines, it's a pretty solid cube. And at this point, you already know 1-point perspective. That's what this is. You might want to vary your shapes instead of just cubes, but the process is relatively the same. Just draw lines from the corners of your shape to the vanishing point and cut them off to make your forms. Congratulations, you're a 1-point perspective master. Just kidding, not quite yet, but you're damn close. Just remember this. When your form is above the horizon line, you're going to see the bottom of it, and when the form is below your horizon line, you're going to see the top of it. Now, as you're experimenting with 1-point perspective, you'll notice when you start placing your vanishing point outside of the middle of the drawing, you're going to experience this. This is warping. This is because 1-point perspective really isn't meant to be used outside of the middle of the canvas. And you can accomplish a lot with this perspective, but once you want to see like the sides and diagonal objects, this is where you want to bring in a second vanishing point. With our first vanishing point outside the safe area for 1-point perspective, we're going to add another one on the same horizon. This should at bare minimum be at the other end of the canvas, but honestly I recommend putting it maybe 1 to 2 canvas lengths away. Now bringing it back to our favorite shape, the cube, we're going to construct it a little bit differently. First we're going to start with 1 vertical line. And then we're going to connect both ends of this line into the vanishing points, and then cut it off with another vertical line. And then we're going to connect the end of these cutoff lines into the other vanishing point. Now I know I may have lost some of you right there, but think about it like this. In 1 point we started off with a square, but instead of starting off with a square in perspective, we're going to start off with this diamond shaped by intersecting 2 lines from each vanishing point. Now, since this object is above our horizon line, we're going to draw 2 vertical lines up from this, and we'll cut this off with lines to the vanishing point. Now I hope that cleared things up for you a little. We're going to move on to drawing a little bit more of a complicated shape, starting with the cylinder. What I like to do right off the gate is find the center of this face of the cube. Simply draw a straight line from one opposite corner to the other, and then again for the other 2 opposite corners, and where these 2 lines intersect is going to be the exact center no matter what perspective it's in. Now finding the center is going to help us draw the circle we need in perspective. After that, we want to get the furthest points of the circle and connect them to the vanishing points. Next, we want to mirror that same circle on the other side, except we want to erase the part of the circle that we're not going to be able to see. Now, some of you may want an exact method of seeing how much you have to scale things back exactly in perspective in case you're drawing like a repeating pattern, such as like, I don't know, windows on a building, and you want to keep it very accurate to the previous window in the same perspective. We could do this by finding the center of the cube like we did before and drawing a line through the center of this to the vanishing point. We'll call this line that just got made the center line. And we'll call the perspective lines of the first form we made the top and bottom lines. Now what you want to do is take a straight line from the opposite corner and draw it through where the middle line intersects with the end of your form and continue that until it hits the bottom line. And now all we have to do is draw a straight line up from this bottom line, and we'll have an object in the exact same size right behind the object in the same perspective. And we could do this again. We'll draw a straight line from the outside corner of the second box we made and go straight down through the middle line again and to the bottom line. And you can see it gets progressively smaller and smaller, and you could just keep on doing this until you hit your vanishing point. Now this is going to give you an exact measurement, but it does take more time, so this is why I recommend you only doing it again for repeating forms like, I don't know, prison bars or something is what you'd use it on. You don't really want to use it on, I don't know, people per se, or even buildings, because buildings vary in size, so you can kind of just eyeball it and get away with it. And that covers the basis for 2-point. It's the most popular form of perspective, that and 1-point, because they're pretty time efficient and you can get some pretty crazy dynamic images just using 2-point perspective. But one of the limitations of 2-point perspective is you can't really get super crazy angles looking up or down at an object. Now this is where 3-point perspective comes in. Now for 3-point, we're going to combine all the knowledge we gained from 2-point perspective and add a third vanishing point either high above the canvas or really below the canvas. We'll start by viewing our favorite shape, the cube, from above. For this, we're going to be viewing the object from above, so we really want our horizon line to be near the top of the canvas or even above it. Now with our 2 points already set up, we're going to set up a third free-floating vanishing point. This is off the horizon line, 2 to 3 canvas lengths below our canvas. And we'll do the same process for drawing the cube, except instead of using straight vertical lines, we're going to draw lines from this third free-floating vanishing point. Now you can see you get a very visually interesting image from this, although it adds more time, so if it's not necessary, don't use it, but it can really add another dimension to your drawings. Now for looking up in an object, we're going to want our horizon line near the bottom of our canvas, and we're going to want our third free-floating vanishing point high above the canvas. Same proportions pretty much. And we just follow the same exact process we did, where instead of using vertical lines, we're connecting our lines to the vanishing point. Now, as you're new to perspective, it's going to take you a long time in your initial drawings to get it down. Now, you should get faster the more you use it, you'll get better at it, and it will improve your art. But there are some methods to speed up your drawing right here, right now. And what I recommend for most artists to do is draw a bunch of straight lines coming out of each of your vanishing points. What this is going to allow you to do is not have to draw all your lines back to the vanishing point. You could just kind of use the guidelines you have down to eyeball it. In the background, I've been drawing Green Goblin, and in this, I used a lot of different forms of perspective. Mainly my guidelines were for the background of this character, but it features some unique perspective, and this is just an application I used of like 3-point. And I actually have a surprise for you guys. When I cut to finish this drawing, I'm actually going to be also adding in all 6 of the Sinister Sticks, as well as 3 Spider-Men into the drawing. So if you guys see that, I don't know, comment something like Sin 6. And while you guys are down there, you could comment what you want me to do for the next video. Guys, this is a tiny channel. I'm super receptive to my audience because, frankly, there's just not that many of them, and, you know, I'm not overwhelmed by them. So go ahead, leave a comment what you want me to do next. Follow my other socials. I'll be seeing you guys next week, Monday, 5 p.m. As always, if the video doesn't come out, then I try to get out the next day. 5 p.m. always is like my shooting time. So check out my upload from last week. I spent a week drawing faces in this video. You know, I try to improve. I try to improve every video, not just in my actual art, but also in the quality of the videos. I'm terrible, guys. I suck at editing. What do you expect from me? But I'm out. See you guys.